Hi guys, welcome back to another day here in the 12 days of Christmas here for Movies with James. And today we are reviewing probably one of my favourite Christmas films ever made. This is The Santa Claus. The Santa Claus movie is starring Tim Allen, and he is, in my opinion, the best Santa Claus. I even mentioned this in a previous video. Tim Allen actually embodies the role of Santa Claus, and he plays the role of Scott Calvin. Now, Scott Calvin has the same initials, SC, as Santa Claus. There's a lot of parallels in this movie, and this is just a really magical film for me as a kid growing up. It explained a lot of the things that, you may have had as a kid in terms of how does Santa come down the chimney if there is no chimney? How does Santa actually, do these certain things that are unexplainable, and this film does it really well. And my mum and dad actually really used to use this film a lot to explain a lot of this. This is a film though of, obviously, as I say, Santa Claus, and it's Scott Calvin and his journey of turning into Santa. He's basically anti-Christmas really initially, but there's a lot of parallels. He works as a toy maker, he works in marketing toys, so obviously Santa's got those parallels, and we see him literally transform into Santa Claus by his body changing, everything just completely changing. He also has a son in the movie, and that is Charlie. He's played by Eric Lloyd, and he's fantastic in this film. I think he is really sweet, really charming, and in the later films, number 2 and 3, he's not as good as an actor, but as a child actor, I think he's great. Really shame that he didn't get any other roles after this around this time anyways, but yeah, nothing really of note in his filmography other than obviously this trilogy of Santa Claus movies. But Tim Allen's in this movie. We get Judge Reinhold in there as well, who we have seen on the Beverly Hills movies recently, and then Wendy Crewson is playing Laura in the film, so she's like his ex-wife. And yeah, it's about the story of him turning into Santa Claus, him actually being that character, and for me it's just so magical. You get to go to the North Pole, you get to see Bernard, who's like the head elf, and he's like the boss man really. You also then get Judy, who's like the sweet, nice, innocent maid, I guess, and they've got real good characters there. What they do in number 2 and 3 really well is they actually do a bit of world building. In this film, the budget just wasn't there, and it does show in that sense. It doesn't have the same type of feel that number 2 and 3 has, because number 2 and 3 was on a different scale. We had like the actual North Pole village really, and everything. And there's actually even a Disney Plus TV show of the Santa Clauses in terms of the family of them. I've never seen that, and I really, really want to see that, but it's one of those that you've got to watch it around Christmas time, because obviously if you watch it in like March, it's just not going to make sense. It's just not going to feel good. But obviously Christmas time for me, there's so much stuff on TV in general, so I really find it hard to actually find the time to watch that. But maybe over Christmas, in between Christmas and New Year, maybe I'll smash it out this year, but who knows. But as I say, this is one of my, if you'd asked me before doing these 12 days of Christmas, this would have been up there. It was one of my favourite Christmas films ever, and it doesn't disappoint. I actually rated this a 4.5 star. It's nearly perfect in my opinion. It has a lot of charm, it has a lot to give, it has a lot of, really good world building stuff in there, but it just doesn't have the budget to take it that next step further. Some of the, the CGI, this film's from 1994, so some of the CGI and stuff does look a little bit bad, does look a bit, thing, but it's also, some of it's really far ahead of his time. Like when he transforms into Santa Claus, he shaves his beard and then all of a sudden it grows back instantly. And that transition is fantastic for 1994. So there's some really good stuff in there, but there's also some really, icky moments in there as well. And it's a shame because it has some good stuff. But for me, that doesn't take away for this film. It's still a fantastic movie. It's still, as I say, a 4.5 star, one of my favourite Christmas films. And yes, there's probably a lot of nostalgia there in terms of my feelings about Santa Claus. Definitely a lot of stuff going on with that, but in my opinion it's just one of those things. But I love this film and this franchise as a whole nonetheless. So there it is, guys. There is my review of this Santa Claus. Let me know your thoughts down below. Have you seen it? And of course, there's another day done of the 12 days of Christmas. We are just over the halfway mark now, and we've got a few more to come, so stay tuned for the next couple of days, and we're counting down to Christmas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.